Hello and welcome to Discovering the World of Natural Health. Your life, your total well-being are your responsibility. We at Remedy This Naturally are there to help you meet your responsibility in a natural approach. You know, it's so exciting to see how God's pharmacy can make a difference in the lives of people. And the thing that we need to preach more about is that prevention is more important than treating disease. Because if we can take prevention and take and slow down our body's aging process, our ability to work against the negativities that come our way. And I challenge you to think about these things and what can you do to make a change in your life and your health and do it in a natural approach. I want to share something with you that was written, and folks, this was written in August of 1992. We're talking about 28 years ago. This was brought up, and it was brought up with the ability to use silver as a means of building the immune system, fighting the negative that's within our body, and causing it to be a positive. But I'm going to quote to you from Science Magazine, August 1992. Quote, "Those who believe a plague could not happen in this century have already seen the beginning of one in AIDS." There was an AIDS crisis, okay? But the drug-resistant strain and that things that the pharmaceutical companies do not have to help us contain these things, which can be transmitted by casual contact in movie theaters, hospitals, shopping centers, are likely to be even more terrifying. And since the beginning of 2020, when this pandemic came out, and the fear and the scare, all these things to take control of our life and our lives and how we live, what we do, what we don't do, who we stay in contact with, social distancing. But we need to spend more time on prevention, more time on being on top of these things and not letting them be in charge of us, but we be in charge of our body, our life, and our well-being. You know, I will continue to read this, and then we'll have some good things to tell you about things you can do to help a better quality of life by using some of the things that God's created in His pharmacy for us to have a better quality of life. So let's deal with these things right quick. We are in the middle of a war, and our health and our lives all hang in the balance. What are we fighting? Infection by bacteria, viruses, yeast, fungi, and a slew of other microbial invaders. Some we have fought before, while others are fresh on the scene. And still others have returned as bigger and more vicious as villains, versions of their former selves. Think about it. Whether they appear in the form of a well-known HIV, and we talked about, and there was a big deal about HIV virus, the new SARS thing that came out, or avian influenza virus scares, or even the seemingly harmless bacteria that cause childhood ear infections. We cannot afford to be complacent about potential widespread threat they pose in the not so distant future. I'm starting out and I'm reading this from something 28 years ago. What's changed? What's changed? How can this be? Ever since Sir Alexander Fleming accidentally discovered penicillin back in 1928, 8 more years would be 100 years ago, because we're doing this in 2020, and this was in 1928. The prototype for many antibacterial scents. So they've taken and built upon what Sir Alexander Fleming did when he accidentally got penicillin. The scientific and the medical communities have seemed to be on a steady climb in our understanding and treating of infection. Several types of infections, disease, seem to be not only treatable, but on the road to being eliminated from medical dictionaries. That's promising. That's good. Even where cures have not been discovered, such as the HIV and AIDS, treatments have improved by leaps and bounds in just a few decades. But the medical community is now discovering that the situation is not as under control as they previously thought. The reason? Why is it not under control? The rise of resistant pathogens, microbes that have developed immunities or even antibiotics, prescription drugs, and inoculations or immunizations we have come up with today. With the right pathogen at the right time of vulnerability, you have the makings for the next plague just waiting in the wings of the right moment to strike. Written 28 years ago. And guess what? It has struck. And we've got to make a change in how we can take and overcome this negativity. Just, and this here written was between 90,000 and 100,000 hospital deaths each year as a result of hospital-acquired infection. More from AIDS, breast cancer, automobile accidents combined. Got to do some things to make things easier for us to have a better quality of life naturally. Okay? We can come up with, and I guess I need to elaborate more on the negativity and what can be done to find the source of these strains and microbial strains. You need to first go further than the doctor's office, hospital, elderly care facilities. These health facilities are not only teeming with dangerous microbes, but they're also the unintentional breeding ground for superbacteria and viruses. So that's some things that we could get more into. But, I'm not into the blame game. I'm into what can we do to be on top of this and have a better quality of life, and what does our body need in order to overcome sickness and death from these pathogens. We need to do that. A statistic for you. Today, more than 95% of staph bacteria are resistant to penicillin. Got to come up with other stuff, folks, and make it work. You know, illnesses negatively affected by drug-resistant pathogens, tuberculosis, malaria, meningitis, endocarditis, urinary tract infection, hepatitis B, pneumonia, HIV, respiratory infection, strep throat, gonorrhea, skin infections, genital herpes, ear, eye, and sinus infection, and gum disease. We've got to do something to make it better. We've got to make sure that we can have something that can help us overcome this. And with that in mind, I'm going to drop the negative right there and just leave it. We know it's a mess. But anybody can talk about a mess. Anybody can talk about what's wrong with something. But who can talk about what you can do to overcome sickness, the plagues, the things that so easily beset us and put us backward in our life? What can we do about that? I'm going to talk to you about something that is powerful. Very, very powerful. Healing, helpful, have a better quality of life. And what I'm going to share with you, we have done over and over again. And that's talking about silver. Silver. Powerful, powerful antibiotic, antifungal, antibacterial, antimicrobial. You know, it's what we need. It's powerful. Let's talk about it for a minute. Nature has answers, and this is a growing microbial threat. What can we do? We all know the potential danger that viruses and bacteria can inflict on the human body, especially when it comes knocking on our individual door and causing a problem. In fact, patents on the silver products have existed since the early 1920s. And I went back and I started the program today, and something that happened 28 years ago. But this, and what we're talking about, folks, was patents on silver existed since 1920, and we're in 2020. 100 years ago, we had an answer from God's pharmacy with silver. However, time has shown that there was some risk with using silver products. Yeah. But then guess what? You find out what they are and how they can be enhanced and how they can help you and me and our loved ones overcome the negativity that's going on. Notably, toxicity at unhealthy levels. Over the years, these products have been called colloidal silver, have provided some benefits for consumers, but they always had a risk on the colloidal. But now, we have something, and we've talked about it. We've shared it with you. But I don't think you were really listening, and you didn't do your homework to follow up on what I said or what the different doctors have said, the people that have helped formulate this in the form that goes into the body that is able to penetrate and get into the cellular level of the body and cause healing. And so what we've got now is a new, improved type of silver. And it has been developed that is virtually non-toxic and very effective against a wide range of. Now, what does this non-toxic silver have for you and me? What does it have? It's effective against a wide range of bacteria, viruses, yeast, and other pathogens. This quote-unquote new form of silver often called a silver solution has a nano size core of elemental silver and a silver oxide coating that maintains its original charge. Powerful. It's charged up for our bodies, and it stays that way in our bodies. One of the properties most responsible for is antimicrobial approach. So if we're dealing with something that's antimicrobial, don't we need to deal with something that maybe not being able to be seen? You know, how many parts per million can it be? How much can it do for us? So, question being, for you and me, I mean, hey, look, I'm all about what can we do, first of all, for ourselves. We really can't help anybody till we've helped ourselves and gotten this stuff out of the way. So, what in the world and why in the world do we talk about silver solution and what it can do? Because it's critical. It's powerful. And it's one of those things that, you know, that can be for prevention, and it can help the body to build so it can resist. But the main thing, folks, we need maintenance of taking care of ourselves. We need to make sure that you and I are the best we can be so we're not spreading something else around. All about you. All about you, your family, your loved ones, and the people you care about. Let's get it done for us, because we're special. And we need to not be able to get to the point where we're just so fearful of what's going on. Let's be able to kick it to the curb. The problem with earlier versions of silver is they often had high amounts of silver were needed to be effective, which would possibly lead to toxic levels of silver building up in the body. And that was true. And they'll probably go on to talk about this for a minute, but let me just reiterate it from how it's affected and how I just stayed away from it, because there were people using silver. They had these little generators that you could make your own silver, but it wasn't the nanoparticle. It was one that, the big joke was you took silver, you turned blue. And because that's what too much of it had a negative effect of. But then, I need to tell you this. The person that was using silver, making silver, the negativity of it, you know what a Smurf looks like? Some of you do, some of you don't. We've come out of the Smurf generation, but all of the Smurfs were blue, right? And what happened was that when people would take the colloidal silver that was toxic in a way, and it built up in the system, they would turn blue. But you know what also was going on? The people who were still doing it this way were able to come against the warfare in their bodies, and the negativities would be healed. Yes, I'm using the word healed. So something had to be done about that. And that's what's so neat about the scientific community. What is the negativity of something that's doing a great job, and how can we make it so we can move forward and have the healing from a element in God's pharmacy to help us? That's what's so powerful about it. However, today's revolutionary form of silver solution can be effective against literally dozens of pathogens without fear of toxicity. Hot diggity dog, Jiminy Boo. You got a product, and you don't have to be fearful of it. Numerous lab reports and research studies have documented the benefits of using silver. In fact, a recent report from the microbiology department of Brigham Young University found that a nanoparticle silver solution was effective in destroying, listen carefully, effectively in destroying over a dozen of today's most dangerous bacteria, including Salmonella, E. coli, Pseudomonas, Aguarius, and Streptococcus pneumonia. Some of that nasty stuff, hard to deal with. Okay, we talked about something that's good. We talked about the negative aspect of something that's good. Now, why and how does the silver work? How? The answer to this question is threefold. Okay, you got three fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to answer that. First, the silver oxide coating of the nanoparticle kills bacteria. How does it kill the bacteria? By pulling away one of the electrons on the bacteria cell membrane. Hot diggity. You know, if you got something that's attacking something, and if you can just level the playing field and get rid of one of those elements or one of those bad boys or a gang on top of one person, hey, we can get her done. Which contributes to the eruption of the membrane and ultimately the death of the bacterial cell. So that's the first thing it does. It pulls away one of the electrons on the bacterial cell membrane, which contributes to the rupture of the membrane and ultimately the death of the bacterial cell. That's the first way it works. Number 2, the new silver works by its electromagnetic charge. Virus DNA has incomplete segments of DNA that have abnormal electrical charges. The silver nanoparticle is magnetically attracted to the virus and overpowers the DNA by causing it to bind into a tight ball. In essence, it renders the virus impotent and unable to be replicated. It stops it in its tracks. That's just, We don't get too overzealous in the words we're trying to say. The bottom line is, all you want to know as a person that's going to use a product, does it work? Does it give me the safety valve in my body to know that I am not going to be attacked, and if I am being attacked, that the microparticles, nanoparticles, are there to make sure, absolutely make sure, it is helping us stay healthy. That's what it's all about. And finally, number 3, the new silver solution is destructive towards bacteria and viruses, and it's done through its magnetic resonance. Dr. Rushton Roy of Penn State University has found the new silver to resonate. In other words, it has a frequency, it has an energy, and that resonance is around in between 890 and 910 tetrahertz, which is the exact frequency that most labs use to protect from the potential of bacteria and viral infections. They have these things already. They know that we can put in the air the things that kill this bacteria. And we know it resonates. We know that the energy and the frequency of what some people refer to as the blue lamp in the medical facility is there to help kill the bad boys. Okay, you said, if it's doing all this, is this something that's safe? Is this something that I can do and be able to feel comfortable about it without the side effects? For those of you who just joined us or picked up on the conversation with myself and you, that I started out with an article, a few paragraphs of what happened 28 years ago and how it was talking about a pandemic on the way, and it could happen at any time. And here we are, we're in the middle in 2020, dealing with that. So what I'm talking about silver solution and how it in its nanoparticle is able to eliminate the negativity from the bad boys that are jumping on our case, trying to make our health negative and not positive. That's what's going on. Okay? All right. Let's talk about safety. Talk about safety. And you can come into Remedy this National 1140 Bienvenue Road. And if you want to look at the charts, check out things. It's all about you and what's in the best interest of you and your loved ones. The simple answer about the safety of silver, it is safe. That's the answer. It is safe. As discussed, older colloidal silver products, they did pose some measure of threat. And now, folks, you had to use a mess of it, so to speak. You had to use large quantities of it. And you had to use it for long periods of time in order for it even to come up and turn you blue. However, the new nanoparticle that is there now, and it's a nanoparticle-based silver. Extremely safe. Extremely. In fact, the United States government's Director of Integrative Center for Homeland Security And this is a gentleman that was Integrative Center for Homeland Security, and that was Dr. P.K. Carlton. And Dr. Carlton, he recommended the use of new silver solutions as a safe resource in the area of bioterrorism. Think about that. You know, today in this pandemic thing, we're talking about China this, China that, how we've come into being infected with this pandemic. And Dr. Carlton has called silver a non-toxic to humans and EPA approved. So I personally have no fear in using it for myself. I want you to take and read about it yourself. Come in, get the patent numbers, and you can go look it up. And what the patent says, in order for you to get a patent for something, right? It's supposed to have certain things that it does and works within a certain range. So what do we got? We've got, for you and me, the information that's in a patent. You can go check it out, see what it says, and if it is the powerful thing we need for our body. Check it out. You gotta be your own physician. You gotta be. What is it that your body, mind, soul, and spirit needs to be made whole? What are the 8 causes of disease? How can we get rid of those 8 causes and be able to have the power coming from the Garden of Eden back way when that is up to here today that's helping us? Oh, baby, we've come a long way. Other data shows that the new silver passes through the body unmetabolized. What in the world do you mean by that? That it does not produce toxic microbiotics that can contribute to various health conditions. And most things, when it comes to the form of a pharmaceutical, the list of the negative outweighs sometimes the benefit of what it's supposed to do. But if you can do this, other data show that the new silver, the nanoparticle silver, passes through the body unmetabolized. And that means it does not produce any toxic metabolites that can contribute to various health conditions. Safe. That's why silver to me is my first line of defense. And it's on my list as my preventive line of defense. I love it. I love what it does. I love how it works. And folks, you need to make sure the one you get is from Remedy This Naturally, that is the nanoparticle, and that we're getting it from the proper manufacturer who's doing it the way it's supposed to be done. And don't try to make yours with the little generator. You guys are special, absolutely special. That's why we're getting this information to you. Other research shows that between 90 and 99% of ingested used silver products are excreted by the next day, and that it would take approximately 258 years of regular ingestion of the new silver solution for it to accumulate in the body to toxic level. That's only if none ever left your body. a nanoparticle, non-toxic. Take 258 years of regular ingestion to accumulate to a toxic level, and that is if it wasn't excreted. And this is excreted. In other words, it comes in, does its jobs, and leaves without causing any side effects. That's what's so powerful about nanoparticle silver. Finally, nanoparticle silver is approved by the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, and there's other government agencies that also produce it. They take and endorse it or approve it, whichever way you want to call it, and has been approved as a safe disinfectant for drinking water by various government agencies. So it helps clean up the water. The other thing that is really neat about it, when you are in an airplane and they're actually using, don't know if all of them are using it or not, but they're using the filtration systems with the silver in it to help kill the bacteria so you can have pure air. It's my understanding, and this is what the airline told me when a couple weeks ago I flew, and it said that the air that I was breathing inside of that cubicle up in the sky was the purest I could get and the safest we could get with the people crowded in together. I thought that was beautiful. And the thing is, being secure, one of the things, in my opinion, that makes us healthy, and that's a positive mental attitude. Where I get that from? As you and I think. As a person thinks in their heart, so are they. Laughter, healing, powerful healing. Why? Heart. My heart. Keep your heart happy, and you're more than likely to have a healthy heart, and it will give you a healthy body. There's energy, there's frequencies. And I'm not getting over your head, but energy and frequency is so important. Think about it for a moment. As you breathe, eat, sleep, all these different things, energy and healing are important. But when you take and you get a happy heart, you laugh, you cry because of excitement, of joy and happiness, you are producing a man-made positive substance in our bodies. You know, the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, probably would like to arrest you for making the medicine without a license. But you were given a license a long time ago, folks. And that is with the Creator who manufactured you from the elements in the earth. And that's what happened. Joy unlocks the negative healing so it can leave the body. Unlock the crap. Get it going. So, let's jump to where I need to do and put it to a positive force. There are basically 8 causes of disease, and I want us to take a closer look at those. You know, don't get me wrong, several factors may play a role in development of an abnormal health condition. For instance, catching a cold usually requires more than a simple exposure to a virus. For the body to become susceptible, it may also be affected by a combination of 1, poor diet, lack of sleep, and an increase in environmental stress, for instance. Research also, it takes the cause as disease points to the following 8 top contributors which may lead to abnormal health. And I'm going to go ahead and just give you the 8. Then we're going to elaborate on as much as we can in the broadcast. But what I'm trying to do is wake up your thinking, wake up your heart, wake up that you know what's going on, that you can be in control of your life and your health, and your body will heal itself. I don't care what you practice, what you don't practice. It is your body, your body, your body is responsible for you. And when we're weakened and we're exposed to people that are toxic, we have a tendency to have something that's negative happen to us. But if we're strong and we have done what needs to be done and stay away from the things that break us down, and some of the things that break us down is emotional. And this pandemic has not been friendly to emotions of people. Okay? 1, deficiencies. What is your body lacking in? What does your body need? What is it deficient in? That's number 1. Number 2, immune dysfunction. How well can you, in the body you live in, be able to overcome what's coming against you, what's attacking you, what's causing you to be vulnerable, what's causing you to be less than healthy? What is it? What is it that you need to build within your immune system and help it because it is dysfunction or deficient in something to make it work? That's number 2. Number 3, injuries. We get clumsy sometimes. We fall. We hurt ourselves. We run into things. We get in a car wreck, have a trauma. You know, someone treats us wrong. We're in a fight. Someone attacks us. Injuries. 3rd item. Things that are contagious. How strong are you in your immune system? How well are you putting back into deficiencies you need? How well are you coping with the injuries you have? And number 5, genetics and age. What stock? That's what you used to say when I was growing up. How well are you bred? How well are you in your strength to be able to have your genetics and be able to keep you strong, healthy, and happy as you have birthdays? That's number 5. Number 6, toxins and free radicals. What are we exposed to? What is it that is attacking us on the cellular level? What is it? Abnormal metabolism. I can't shed this weight. I can't get rid of this because my metabolism is running too slow. My metabolism isn't normal, it's abnormal. How can I get it to be normal? And number 8, you take all these things, take them all together. Let me go through 7 and then I'll tell you what number 8 is. All right. Number 1 was deficiencies. Number 2 was immune dysfunction. Number 3 was injuries. Number 4 was contagiousness. Number 5, genetic and age. Number 6, toxins and free radicals. Number 7, abnormal metabolism. And number 8 is stress. It's very important for us to remember that each cause promotes a specific health risk. Think about that. And the saying of each one having something to happen, and then when you take, and then they get to be bedfellows. And so the more causes you suffer from of the 8, the higher the risk of disease. So if we can keep the numbers down and them working as buddies, then we can have a better quality of life. The more causes you suffer from, the higher your risk of disease. In fact, your risk can increase potentially in some cases. On the other hand, your risk of serious disease significantly decreases as you address each individual cause. Get involved. It's your body. It's your responsibility. Quit blaming somebody else on your sickness and agony and doom. We're responsible for ourselves, our life, our health, and our well-being. As you prevent multiple causes, your body's ability to prevent disease improve drastically. And look, let's talk about what the 4 leading causes of the death are, of our death. What are they? And think about the 8 things we just talked about. The 4 diseases, cause of death can be prevented. Whoa, you're telling me I can prevent death through these 4 causes? Yep, I'm doing it. Heart disease, preventable. Cancer, preventable. Stroke, preventable. Diabetes, preventable. These accounts for about 83% of all deaths. Why did I call them preventable? Kind of slick, preventable. What? Because those 4 things, heart disease, cancer, stroke, diabetes, are lifestyle choices. They're lifestyle. Change your lifestyle, you can get rid of them. Heart disease is the number 1 killer of both men and women. Cancer kills 1 in 4. Stroke kills more than 150,000 annually in the United States. And these numbers are more than what I'm saying because of the age of the information I'm using. And approximately 7% of the population now suffer some with type 2 diabetes. Type 2. Preventable. Let's talk about deficiencies, because if you get this one right, then a lot of things can kind of like build upon another and make it better. Most of us are aware of the potential deadly effects of severe malnutrition and understand that a major deficiency of even 1 vitamin and 1 mineral can lead to disease. And you say, whoa. 1 vitamin, 1 mineral can lead to a disease. Give you one. You haven't heard about this, but Way back when the little bitty ships of Columbus was coming across and sailing the blue, 1842. Talk about how long that's been. 1800, 1900, 2000. They found out that they had a problem. And they found out if they ate fruit, the problem would go away. And what was in that fruit was vitamin C. And that vitamin C was given for scurvy and calcium for osteoporosis. And you know what many of us may not realize is that even minor deficiencies can prove deadly over time. And that, chances are, you probably suffer from at least one nutrient deficiency. In fact, the USDA reports that approximately 92% of Americans do not receive sufficient nutrients in their diet. Is that a big deal or not? Mounting scientific research shows, and the answer is that the risk of numerous lifestyle diseases are substantially reduced through proper diet. Poor diet and associated nutritional deficiencies have been linked to the following short list of health conditions, as well as dozens more not included. So here, just because there is a deficiency: heart disease, stroke, diabetes and arthritis, irritable bowel, osteoporosis, cancer, premenstrual syndrome, Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease, depression. Not convinced? Consider this. The American Cancer Society estimated that approximately 1/3 of cancer deaths annually in the United States can be linked to diet and nutrition. 92% of Americans do not receive sufficient nutrients from their diet. A short, recent study linked a deficiency of folate, a B vitamin, to the development of Parkinson's disease, a deficiency not found to leave dopamine producing brain cells vulnerable to damage and death. And this goes way back here. In 2007, PBS series titled Hidden Epidemic Heart Disease in America, nutritional deficiency was discussed as not only a factor in the development of heart disease, but also as a primary cause of cardiovascular disease. So, and you know, the vitamins, folic acid, fatigue, anemia, neutral tubal defect, vitamin B12, deficiency of red blood cells, heart disease, fatigue, anemia, vitamin B6, cardiovascular disease, carpal tunnel syndrome, premenstrual syndrome, and mood deficiencies. And selenium increases, deficiency of it increases cancer risk. Magnesium. I like my magnesium. It helps get rid of depression, insomnia, muscle cramping, and irritability. And something very, very simple. Something that we have a tendency to leave alone. Nutritional experts estimate that up to 80% of Americans are dehydrated on any given day because they don't drink enough water. They drink a lot of caffeinated beverages which actually increase fluid loss in the body. If the body doesn't have sufficient water to fulfill its biochemical needs, all kinds of problems can exist. The immediate efforts of dehydration, including headache, back pain, confusion, and fatigue. Long-term dehydration leads to constipation, shakiness, tumors, irritable heart disease, low blood pressure, swelling, depression, and coma. Even mild dehydration negatively affects the proper function and health of the body. Something very simple. Drink your water, get adequate sleep, and exercise. Those three things will change your life. My objective in this broadcast is for you to know that the silver, the nanoparticle that's at Remedy This Naturally, can benefit you greatly. Check it out. Find out how it works for you. Helping you understand what silver can do. Help you understand that things have been going on for a long, long time, and that we can talk about the 8 causes of disease, and we can make a change. Folks, I challenge you. It's your life. It's your health. We at Remedy This Naturally are there to help you meet it in a responsibility of knowing that God created the body, and it's between Him and you as to how you prosper and be in good health. But that's going to take care of how your soul prospers. Thank you very, very much. I'm your host, Claiborne Holtzman. Remedy This Naturally. God bless you greatly, and may good health be yours, and may you fall in love with the Creator of your body. Take care. God bless.